Morning, y'all. We're doing another episode. Feeling good about this one. This one was actually already done previously for the Book of Faces. But like I said in my first video for this channel, I'm trying to catch up and gain that traction that I had before. So, philosophy for the modern being, part 2. I had several months ago stumbled upon a rather unique explanation for spirituality, I suppose would be the best way to label it. But basically, this is more on the paranormal side. I would say overall I'm a skeptic, but I'd also like to believe that ghosts exist, because that would just blow the door open on so many fronts. Like, yes, there's an afterlife. Yes, there's more than just this right now. I feel like it would bring peace of mind to a lot of people too, that, loved ones aren't just gone. Because, unless you're religious, that's kind of how it is. Religious or spiritual. But there's no real tangible evidence, or at least I haven't seen any, for this to be supported. Until I heard what I heard. Rather, read what I read. So I read that, and this seems rather plausible in my mentality, that an explanation for paranormal happenings may not necessarily be a spiritual one. This takes a more scientific approach to it. So let me kind of gather my thoughts here and put them in tiers so that they make sense, because I have a tendency to be a mental gymnast of sorts. And sometimes it's hard to follow, so one of these days I'll have a studio and be able to have enough time to write a script. Right now, not happening. Like I said in my first video, the only really downtime I have at the moment is on commutes between contracts for work. So I want to be productive with that too. I should be able to just chill, but the old noggin doesn't let me. Anyhow, see, I'm already getting off on a tangent. Let's get back to where we're supposed to be. Cut. No, this is wrong. I also stated that in the first video. You're buckle in, because you're in for a bumpy ride, and we're going to do some meandering. But anyhow, back to the point. The more scientific approach to paranormal happenings starts kind of with the hypothesis that there's multiple planes of existence happening at the same time. This can be demonstrated quite easily with a piece of paper, the 2 dimensions. So I, as a 3-dimensional being, can interact with a 2-dimensional being, but their level of perception doesn't allow them to perceive this other dimension that we have here in this world. So if I take an eraser and I draw, let me start at the beginning. I draw some little stick figures, okay, and somehow they obtain life. in a two-dimensional world. If I take an eraser on an object in their world, all they can see from their point of view is the flat, possibly the shadow of the eraser coming down, and then they will just see whatever I erase vanish. So, if a two-dimension and a three-dimension world can exist, theoretically, a fourth dimension could exist, and a fifth, and a sixth, and so on and so forth. And the actions that are happening on our three-dimensional plane can't fully be comprehended or even perceived because the lack of that other dimension. But they can interact with us. You can only go downward, right? So, theoretically, a fourth dimension could be interacting with the third dimension, and this is just causing what we perceive as paranormal events. Pretty cool, right? It's an awesome idea. And there's logic behind that. When you say, a spirit's causing this, well, what is a spirit? What tangible evidence do we have? And we have, there's people that'll argue there's photographs of ghosts, there's photographs of, demons or whatever. But in my personal experiences, because I've had some weird stuff happen, but I can't necessarily say for certain it was a ghost, spirit, whatever. So I feel like this explanation is just a better one that's more tangible. There's science behind it, and it's not just relying on hearsay. I can't remember who I was talking to. It's funny because everybody called him a name that wasn't his name. I literally thought this kid's first name was what everybody called him, but it wasn't. It's gonna drive me nuts. But, freshman and sophomore classes of 2006 in Rhode Island College, speak up. Let me know if you're that dude. You were friends with Matt. Why can't I remember your name? I thought you were such a cool dude, and I can't, for the life of me, remember your name. Funny. Anyhow, he told me that there is specific evidence from way back when the first, documented ghost happenings took place, that the people who were involved actually staged it. So that kind of stuck with me and made me question this whole time. Like, I watched Ghost Hunters religiously as a child and into my early adult years. And it always seems that they were able to debunk things. That noise, they could recreate it. That movement, they could recreate it. Very seldomly did anybody over the years provide solid evidence to me. And I watch on the Tube of Views Nuke's Top 5. Shout out to that dude. I am hooked. I constantly wait for your stuff. I wish you were a little bit more regular with your video drops, because I enjoy them immensely. He basically reviews all these internet paranormal clips and kind of ranks them. And although it's Nuke's top 5, it's not always a top 5. Sometimes it's a top 10, top 9, whatever. But you get the gist. He kind of weeds through the internet, finds the ones that are most compelling, and then ranks them and lets you view them, which is cool. I'm super into the paranormal. I do take a healthy scientific approach to it. I need evidence, but at the same point, I kind of want to believe. So that's my stance on the paranormal. I just think it would be cool if something that we haven't proven to exist does exist and we can prove it. That's basically it. But yeah, hearing that back in college just kind of blew my mind. I was like, wow, the originators of the ghost story admitted that it was false. That's pretty damaging to credentials as far as ghost stories go. I feel for the defining thing that would make me believe would have to be what they call a full body apparition. Because, things moving, who knows? We're on a spinning earth. There's magnetic poles. Sometimes there's minor earthquakes that can't be felt, but they can be observed if something small enough gets shaken enough, and maybe you don't feel it because you have larger mass and it causes less of a disturbance in your body than it does the object. I don't know. I just think that there's probably more often than not explanations for things that are perceived to be paranormal. And there's this kind of mentality that I see across a lot of people that are super into it is this kind of reaching. They're like, oh, well, that must be this because I believe this. Well, beliefs aren't facts, and that's my problem. For instance, there was this person that I used to hang out with that said, oh, it's the death anniversary of one of my best friends, and that was her favorite color. We happened upon foliage. She had passed in the fall. Or no, I'm sorry, she didn't pass in the fall. She passed in late winter, but fall was her favorite season, this person that passed away. And one of her favorite colors was orange for the leaves. And in driving, we saw a tree out in the open by itself with orange leaves. And she took that as a sign that her friend was saying hi, which is endearing. That's a nice thought. But unfortunately, that was close to my childhood home, and I had seen that tree many times, and it's always orange. It's not like it randomly changed for a conduit for a ghost to talk to a non-ghost. So I feel like a lot of times there's this reaching for explanation and placing meaning behind things that maybe don't have meaning to begin with. Like people that happen to see a clock when the numbers repeat and they're like, oh, angel numbers. And I'm like, it happens every day. Just because your perception of it doesn't happen every day doesn't mean that it's not happening every day. So I don't know. Like I said, I want to believe. I would think that that's super nice of her friend to say hi from beyond the grave, but is it realistic? Probably not. I'm trying to keep these around 15-20 minutes, so I think we're coming there, and I've made a few points, but I really, really enjoyed that scientific explanation of the planes for paranormal activity. A fourth dimension interacting with a third dimension, and not being able to be completely perceived by the third dimension makes way more sense than this non-physical thing that makes up your being persists after all physicality has ceased. I digress. Let me know what you think. Where do you stand on the spirituality? Are you like me? I feel like I'm a rare breed, like a skeptic that is somewhat open. But yeah, let me know. Let me know what you'd like to talk about for philosophies in future episodes as well. I'm not promising that this will be a daily thing, but that's bleach stain. I thought I had a crumb or something stuck to me. But yeah, let me know what you think, what you want to see. Let's interact. Let's be people. And let's try and impart some wisdom on each other. If you're down with that, then you're my type of people, and I appreciate you. Until the next one, I'll probably do these Monday through Friday because I always have these long drives, and my mind is always racing. So, yeah. Philosophy for the modern being out.